Animated movies are, in a word, magical. And in two words, magical and timeless. This style of filmmaking is sadly one that gets hysterically overlooked by many fans of the art of film, being given the common consensus that this type of art style is only made for children given how unrealistic and imaginative it is, something that only a child would enjoy. And what I say to that accusation is, well, yes, but actually no. While it is true that animated movies are definitely something children would prefer to watch other than anything in live action, the statement, animation is just for kids, could not be further from the truth. To put it as simply as I can, animation is cinematography, or the way your film looks, taken to the next level. This style of filmmaking's very strength is being able to take ideas that would look awful or silly in live action, and make them look beautiful, memorable, timeless. And in my opinion, no other animated movie displays this idea better than Ratatouille. Now, I typically don't like making videos on movies plenty of people have talked about, or when there's a much better video that you can watch at your leisure that conveys what I'm about to say much better. But I gotta tell you, for a movie like Ratatouille, I feel like there could be a million video essays made on it and it will never be completely fleshed out. This is without question the most important film Pixar has released, and although it's not my favorite work of art from them, or even the best, it comes as a very close second to both those achievements, and as I see it, speaks louder to everyone personally, even more so than movies like The Incredibles or Toy Story. To this day, remaining as one of Pixar's most timeless and mature films, despite having one of the most conceptually bizarre and random stories. But then the real question here is, how? How does a movie about a rat wanting to cook food turn out to be one of the most thought-provoking and personally relatable films ever told in the realm of animation and film as a whole? While there are many factors that contribute to this achievement, one of, if not the most important, is the film's animation. And I'm just gonna come right out and say it, this film looks gorgeous. Now, I'm not saying that this film's specific animation style is the best one out there. In fact, there are Pixar and 2D animated films that I find to be much more captivating. But honestly, just the fact that this movie is still an animated movie, given the hard job of being appropriate for children, and still doesn't fall victim to the peer pressure of over-exaggerating every movement and concept, is honestly astounding. Animation, while not inherently meant for kids, still does attract kids the most given its exaggerated characters and worlds. A child would much rather watch this shark than this shark. And a movie about a rat cooking cuisine isn't something that can only work in animation, unlike movies with mermaids, talking lions, or an alien dog. But the movie is nonetheless still animated, because I'm pretty sure there aren't that many people that find the real-life looking image of a rat cooking their food to be appealing. Who wouldn't? The animation in this case helps to humanize our protagonist Remy the rat, while simultaneously keeping the world and setting as real and mature as possible, yet beautiful in a way. This is where the beauty of animation shines most, allowing the audience to see humans within non-human characters, thus allowing the viewer to see themselves as that character. It's easy to relate to a rat that walks, talks, and expresses emotions like a human. Whereas if this movie was live action and nothing in the story was changed, it would be really hard to tell what emotions Remy was feeling in the scene, all because real rats don't show emotions the way an animated one does. In hindsight, Remy isn't a rat character, he's a character who happens to be a rat, and is definitely my favorite Pixar protagonist to date simply because he shares and overcomes the struggles any person could have. A guy who wants to follow his passion more than anything and perseveres through the obstacles in order to obtain that goal is at first glance a very overused goal and motivation to have in a movie. But Ratatouille does what some of the best movies do and doesn't make that the plot. And yes, while it is Remy's desire to cook food, that's not necessarily the goal of the story. Ratatouille gives its film an indie pacing, where there's no one goal set in stone in order to end the movie. The goal is life. Confused? Stay with me here. So yes, while Remy's goal in the movie is to cook at one of the biggest restaurants in France, that goal is pretty much accomplished by the 30-minute marker, but the movie keeps going. And it's not because the pacing is messy. It's because the pacing is imitating that of real life. In the real world, no one accomplishes their goals and then boom, all their problems are solved. Their story goes on, and as long as they're living, there are always going to be new goals and challenges for them to face. The fact that Ratatouille is able to fit all of this masterful pacing without the need for a sequel is revolutionary, doing something no other big-budget animated movie company has done here in America. And do I even need to talk about the writing in this movie? Each character, whether relevant to the plot or not, is given distinct and very human designs and personalities just by giving them about 3 to 5 lines of dialogue. And yes, while Colette and Linguini are two great minor protagonists who have their own great chemistry and plot relevance, the antagonists really steal the show in this movie, hands down. Something interesting that Ratatouille does is it doesn't have your traditional movie antagonist, and in hindsight, it doesn't even have a villain. It instead has two very complex people who have immoral and selfish views. The thing many of us tend to forget about life is that no one is the villain. People aren't born evil. It's those around them who shape them to be that way. Everyone is the main character of their own story, and what some may view as selfish, bad, wrong, or egotistical, others may view as the right thing to do. And no, this isn't me trying to justify crimes and horrid actions. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say that in Ratatouille, the villain isn't a person. It's a person's thought process and moral ideologies. Ideologies that that person is battling with every day to see if they should stay true or find a different mindset to follow. Just like how real people's minds work. Some people choose not to denounce their selfish, egotistical mindset and behavior and find their acts to be valid and necessary, while others who previously had that mindset choose to follow a different road from then on, enjoying the simple things. The movie is teaching us that people can change, and no one is truly a bad person. But you, yes you, have to make the choice for yourself to decide who you will be.
This little rat is guilty!
Ratatouille is a movie many of us saw as children, and only when we were older realized just how taken for granted this film is. Everything from the music, protagonists, antagonists, animation, visuals, dialogue, editing, messages, sequences. It's too much to even name. There's so much that's been said about this movie, and I still feel as if I've barely scratched the surface of it all in this video. But I knew it was something I needed to get out of my system to truly appreciate this masterpiece of cinema. And that's the one word I'd use to describe this movie. Cinema. Ratatouille truly is a starry night within a starry night. I hope to keep rewatching this movie in the future to learn more from its poetic subtlety and commentary on the human psyche. Thank you, Brad Bird. Please never stop making movies, I love you. While Incredibles is still my favorite animated film, Ratatouille is the one that truly changed not only mine, but so many lives out there. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.